Well, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start working on a project that has been years, I guess, in the making. Me thinking about it, almost starting it, and then getting sidetracked with something else and not starting it. This winter, I just felt like crap. I bought all the stuff to do it. I just didn't feel like doing it. I actually had the time this winter to get some of this done, but I just felt so terrible, I just didn't get any of it done. But I'm feeling a lot better now. You guys that have watched me any length of time, you can tell I'm kind of hooked on gold mining, prospecting. You know, I've got tons of rocks, this piece of quartz like this. Got a little bit of visible gold in there. This particular piece, I know where I picked this one up. Some of the other pieces I picked up a piece yesterday. It's also got visible gold in it. Do you think I know where that thing came from? Not a clue. Have no idea where I picked that thing up at. But I've got a lot of samples. Some of them are marked and I know where they came from. You know, in my mind, when I pick these up, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I'll remember where this came from. 2 years later, I have no idea where that came from. Sometimes not 2 weeks later, I'm like, where did I pick that up at? But some of them I actually put in a bag and marked. But for those of you who, you know, kind of guessed, I thought the prospecting bug had kind of left me 10 plus years ago. You know, I did a little commercial mining, very small scale. And I thought kind of worked that out of me after I actually tried it for a while, but the bug is still in me. So as you can guess, looking at the round piece of steel, yep, it's going to be an impact mill. I finally this was my last piece I needed to complete this project. And several months ago, I picked this up. Old buddy of mine, he's got a welding shop, and he happened to have some of this sitting out behind his shop, and he cut me off a piece. And so this is what we're going to use for the drum. Originally, I wasn't going to go quite this big, but I think this is going to work out pretty well for the material. I'm making this out of mainly scraps that I have, but all the bearings and shafts and the motor, all that's new. But the guts of this is mainly, you know, the paddles. I've got some old leftover stuff that we're going to use for all that. So that's what the project we're going to do. Now, my biggest challenge, when he cut this off, he did a pretty good job. He did a way better job than I could have done. I think he used a plasma cutter to cut this off, but there's a couple wavy spots in here. So if I made this the open side, it'd be really hard to seal that thing up because you want it sealed up as best as you can. But the other side, it's got a couple little nubs sticking out. But overall, looking across it, it's fairly flat. There's one spot right in here that we're going to have to take care of, maybe weld that in a little bit and then grind it off. I'm just trying to find a good way to put a plate on here and make it seal up kind of decent. We still may wind up having to find a little rubber gasket to put around there or something. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to tackle that yet, but we're going to start on the easy parts. It just dawned on me, I probably don't have enough wire in my wire feed to do all of this, but we'll get as far as we can. So as you probably saw, I was struggling a little bit with the cutting torch. Now, I'm not great with a cutting torch to begin with. I'm okay, but I knew I was getting a little low on oxygen, but I was pretty much essentially out by the time we finished this cut. I was hoping maybe I could cut this with a jigsaw, but I don't have any sharp metal blades out here right now. So that's a no-go. This is just a tad over 3/16. It's kind of an oddball size metal. I'm not sure why, but it's just a little bit over 3/16 thick. So you have to have a pretty good blade to cut it with a jigsaw. But that didn't work. But we finally got it cut with the cutting torch. I knew, like I said, I knew we were getting low. That's the reason I was trying to cut it with the jigsaw to begin with. But yeah, I essentially ran completely out by the time we finished this. I was struggling getting that last part cut. So not the best cut I've ever done, but it'll work. So we're not going to get as far on this project as I wanted to today. We'll try and get this welded up a little bit. As you saw, there's some little gaps in here that, pretty easily fillable with weld. The other side's a little straighter than this side. I still think we're going to have to use some kind of rubber gasket to make the other side, seal up good. But let's get this tacked up. Okay. Sharpens drill bits. Oh boy. Oh, that sucks. Perfect. Okay, so that's about all we're going to have time for today. I do have a question that hopefully some of you might be able to answer who have used one of these or seen one in person. I haven't seen one of these things in person. I've only seen some pictures of some people have manufactured or a couple YouTube videos. I've got this question. So let's just assume this is going to be one of the bars that attach in here. Now, what I'm going to use for bars in here is either some old pieces of the bits off of a grater blade that have been wore out, slice those into something, you know, around that size, about that thickness, 1.25 inches or so, to put in here as the bars that will hit the rocks. Or I can use some of this spring steel. I don't know, I think this is off of a big truck. Got it at an auction a long time ago. I had a couple pieces of it. Stuff's just hard as nails, so we'll do something like that, you know, obviously cut it down, but something about this size. But my question is, how far away from this outside edge do these things hang down here? I'm not sure. I've never seen one of these things in person. I'm thinking about 1 inch, maybe a little more. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys could leave me a comment down below if you've ever used one of these or have firsthand knowledge of one, that would be great. I am going to put a couple bars down in here of that same hardened steel as a beater bar, so when the rock comes around, it has something to hit up against. So in the comment section, leave me suggestions on how far down these things hang. Also, how far from these outside edges back here do these things get? You know, is it fairly tight up against their 1/2 inch gap, inch gap between the front and the back plates? You know, it looks to me like there needs to be a little wiggle room for these things to move around, but how much, I don't know. And is it even a big concern? That's the other thing. Am I overthinking this? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.